Lenovo L15 versus E15. One of you in a comment section about a month ago asked me what would be my recommendation if it comes down to the E series of Lenovo versus the L series, the 15-inch. You were wondering, the price-wise, they are very similar. The L series costs maybe $200 or $300 with the same exact matching settings versus the E series. Does it worth to spend that extra money? And to be honest, I had no answer. I have not seen any ThinkPad since IBM sold the brand to Lenovo. If you're looking at some of the YouTube channels, they're talking about laptops. They always, a lot of them are saying that the gold standards of laptops are the Dell XPS machines. I disagree. To me, is the real IBM ThinkPad. I started doing IT pretty early, a long time ago, and I was always amazed by the technology, how they were designed, how they were manufactured, the build quality. The real IBM ThinkPad is the gold standard for me, or the Dell Precision Workstation 17-inch laptops. That would be my choice. So I thought, why don't we flip this around, and instead of talking about the ports and features, why don't we go straight to the point? And this is how I can show you what exactly the main difference between the two. So if we flip the laptops around, they have the same exact screen, or almost the same exact screen. Both has a 1 megapixel camera. Looks like the keyboard, the touchpad is completely identical. The battery, as you can see, is identical. It's the same solid state M2. The first difference, what you're gonna notice, is that the cooling system in here is smaller. The heat pipe, the heat sink going into the fan. This is the E15, and this is the L15. It's the heat pipe is significantly bigger, but this is not the main advantage of the L15. The main advantage coming out, like, see how this fan is positioned. The hot air is just freely flows out to the side, to your right hand, and this is while the hot air is escapes, while in here this fan is positioned to hit the bottom of the screen. When the laptop is open, the hot air is literally bouncing to the bottom of the screen, and this is pretty much now an industry standard. For some reason, in a lower price range, we are literally blowing the hot air either to the frame, or if it's fully open, to the bottom of the LCD screen. Now this is not causing the LCD to fail, but what's causing is it's a huge performance loss, because the air is just starts heating up this part of the laptop, because it just can't just go out freely just like it can in here. So what's the performance difference? This could be anywhere between 10 to 40%. These two laptops had 8 gigs of RAM, a 250 SSD, and had a generation 10 i5 10 210U CPU, exactly matching CPU. The cooling system is a little bit different, but the main difference is which way the hot air is actually escaping the laptop. In here, it just flows out freely. In here, it's as soon as it try to leave the laptop, it will hit the bottom of the screen and getting blocked by the screen, and this causing somewhere between 10 to 40% performance drop in a case of the E series, or a gain in case of the S series. But what else is a difference? Well, if you're looking at the memory slots, we got 2 slots in here. We only have in here 1. So this is single channel. I think you can still go up to a 32 gig model, and in here you can have 2 slots, and it's all DDR4. If you're looking at also, what is the difference? In the E series, there is a 2.5 SATA drive optional in here, and I cannot believe the material they actually put in here. Like, this dummy drive is not an actual solid state or a hard drive, it's just a plastic caddy, but it's full size and full weight and has a metal plate on the bottom. This actually heavier and more firm than an actual solid state drive. And in here, as you can see, there are like these little plastic holding, just cost probably like 3% more to put these in, and the structure of this laptop is extremely strong. We have metal lids in both cases, and these laptops are coming out of the same environment, from the same client, from the same employees, and performing the same job as these other two Dell Latitude 3510s. Have exactly the same CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, 250 SSD, a 15-inch screen, and these four laptops what the client dropped off for make them faster, make them run better. They said, you know what, the Dell Latitudes, just throw them out. We are done with them. The keyboard, literally the keys are falling off. The touchpad is shot. The hinges are broken on one of them. It's separating the whole entire top of the screen. They have no value. If you go to eBay and looking for a laptop with this particular 3510, if you're looking at this, some of them doesn't have a hard drive or a battery in them. They cost $55. If it's refurbished, it could be $150. So it's literally not worth to fix them up. If this laptop is not traveling, it's staying on your desk 90% of the time, this is a great option. The battery is significantly longer and better than these Lenovo's. The screen quality in general is better than the Lenovo's. I think we have a 2 megapixel camera versus a 1 megapixel camera. It is a good laptop, but this is not what unfortunately this client is doing. They have multiple offices. The employees are constantly rotating between the offices or home and office, and the Latitude 3000 series does not hold up. It just can't handle that, while these ThinkPads are handling great. Not only that, but they want to keep the ThinkPad, and they literally told me to throw these out. So let's look at the Dell options. I did the same thing. So as you can see, the Dell is a little bit different. Like if we, I don't know if you can see this, I'm gonna move this out, maybe we can still see all three of them, I'm not sure. So this is the cheaper E series, this is the L series, and this is the Latitude. Now if you're looking at the cooling system, is very similar size wise, heat skin and everything else than the L series, but the problem is the same thing. The vent is coming out right here, a hot air, and when the screen is open, we're literally blocking this vent, and the performance is not gonna be good. We're gonna have a same throttling issue than what we have on the E series. This one, performance wise, with the same exact CPU, same model, same amount of RAM, same SSD, it's exactly just like right now. It's between the two, and price wise, this is probably the cheapest option. However, if you go to Lenovo right now and looking at the L15 series, they are on sale for $750. They only have 8 gigs of RAM. They have a 1 megapixel camera. They have a 250 nit screen. And if you add make it to a 2 megapixel camera, go up to a 300 nit screen, and switch to the Home to Pro, it's still going to be $850, which exactly the Latitude. And this thing is holding up significantly better than a Latitude if it's come down to traveling. So as you can see, the other big difference is, see what Lenovo is doing regards of the frame, how to like make this stronger, while they'll just have this foam or plastic block just at the middle of the empty space or free space. We have all this molded and reinforced with all these lines and squares, and the structure all the way around. It's see this reinforcement everywhere. It's significantly better option than what the Dell has. Like even just putting this big chunky bulky caddy filler in here, which is stronger than an actual solid seat would be, it makes a huge difference how firm and how solid everything feels like. And if I flip this thing around and you see how much the screen flexes left and right, we don't see that with the Lenovo's because they have an aluminum lid and we have a plastic. And not only that, but let's look at the Dell Latitude 3000 series. If I just have the fingernail and I'm just scratching this with my fingernails. These are permanent marks. They will never come out. You cannot buff them out. It's this surface, like ours of fingerprints. It's awesome. You don't see that, but any kind of physical damage, even just a fingerprints, any kind of scrap and scrapes are permanent. Even with the 3540, the new series, if you run your anything just like slightly scrapes it, the surface, that's gonna be a permanent mark, and it's gonna be non-removable. So what else is a difference? Like same exact matching CPU. The RAM, obviously we have now dual channel. I upgraded the RAM to 16 gigs in each model. What I did is I also removed the heat skin and applied a new layer of thermal paste and cleaned out the fans. Same thing in here. That brought us, I did before and after, I did benchmarks. That give us 20% in each case, a little bit less in the L, almost 22% in single core multi-core applications in the E series. So if you have an E series and it's hitting that 3-year mark, it's worth to take the bottom cover off, and it's worth to put a new thermal paste over a CPU. One shocking thing, it's probably the one and only, I didn't make a video or didn't take pictures. Whatever reason, when I pulled off the coolant, in here, I just take this part off. Half of the CPU was bare metal. It had no thermal paste on it, so I thought, okay, the performance increase gonna be ginormous, and it's 22% solid. Also, the 250 SSD, in the L series, the SSD is almost twice as fast and versus the E series, and it's great. Any kind of smallest application, you starting up a computer, the L is always boots up faster than the E. Even if I install 20 meg application or test software on the L, its finishes significantly faster. As larger as the application, the delay between the two is more significant, more noticeable. In here, if I install Office 365 from scratch or reinstall from online, it is significantly faster than the E. What else is a difference? So as you can see, we have like a metal reinforcement in here. We don't have that in the E series. The other big thing I have to point out, and it doesn't seems to me on a spec sheet to being a huge difference, but the screen. So according to the spec sheet, we have a 220 nit screen versus a 250 nit screen. Regards of the brightness, as higher the number, the screen is brighter. So what's 220 versus 250? I can tell you that is huge. But not only that, but this particular panel in the E is not, it's the colors are faded, the colors are vivid. This is significantly sharper, the image, than the 220, but the real difference comes out at night, believe it or not. When I'm constantly running benchmarks back to back over and over, a lot of them happens at night. And this screen, the L screen, is with the extra 30 nits, whatever it is, it's significantly better to look at. When you just looking at one laptop, you don't really notice the difference, but when you have something side by side, it is day and night the difference. That little difference in a screen makes a huge difference. So if you have the L series, or if you're on a market, you're thinking about if it's worth to spend the extra money on the L series, I would say absolutely. Also in this case, we have a generation 5 i5 and we have a 6E, so technically we have a faster Wi-Fi. And let me just hit the power button. Let me try to do this in the same time and see if I can show you just the boot. And now watch this. So this is the L, this is the E. Most of the time the L boots up faster, gets into Windows. Let's see if that's the case. Yeah, so this is the difference between the L and the E. It's not a whole lot, but if you have to run applications, something has to load, then the L is definitely have the advantage. What advantage we also have? Both of them comes with the same exact matching 65-watt USB-C charger. The E series has only, at least this is a 3-year-old version, has one USB-C, while the other one not only have two USB-C, the S series, but also have a Lenovo docking station. We have also a micro SD card reader and an optional SIM card slot on the other side. Regards of HDMI or USB ports, they are similar. Both of them has a physical LAN connection, so they are matching. If you're looking at the keyboard and a touchpad, it's pretty much the same thing. Battery size wise, the same thing, but the L is still about an hour, the battery lasts an hour or hour and a half longer than the E. However, when I'm looking at how many cycles, how many times the battery was charged, this thing is almost 400 times and this thing is only 100 plus. So that could be just the difference between those two, but the cooling system is significantly weaker on the E series, therefore we have way more performance throttling than on the L. I hope I answered the question finally, and I do apologize for the delay. I am very happy to see these ThinkPads for after a long time. If you found this video helpful or useful, I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers. I am super excited. If you could just hit me like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. If you have any questions regards of these laptops or any other brand or any laptops you are on a market, you kind of lost, not sure what kind of laptop you need, just hit me up in a comment section. I will do my best to give you my best possible answer. Thank you so much for your time. I see you in the next video. Scott's out.